All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our first Facebook Live broadcast of the season. As you can tell from your screens, our first guest this year is going to be Maveric Lamoureux, defenseman for the Voltigeurs. So, Maverick, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. What about you?
Doing great, doing great. Looking forward to our little chat here.
Yeah, I
So,
am.
what we'll do for people online, basically, we invite you to throw some questions in the comments and everything, whatever is relative to this interview, we can use and ask Maverick on the spot. If not, we'll get to know him a little bit better through the course of this interview. It's going to last about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how things go. So, just to kick things off, I mean, obviously, Maverick, you're coming back from an injury these days, so you haven't played a game this season. So, how's the journey to the comeback going right now?
I would say right now it's going pretty well. So I'm in the stage of my rehab where I just got to put more strength. I got to put more muscle back on my shoulder. So let's say I'm doing that with Justin Cote too, one of my teammates. So at least I'm not alone doing that. So it's a bit more fun with him. But like we're every day we're in the gym. I started practicing too, so I can only skate for now. So I started skating. I'm back in the gym. I have all my range of motion, for example, now. So it's really like every day is just doing all the exercise I have, trying to build strength to be even stronger when I get back on the ice.
Obviously, we'll get to it later on because you've been an NHL draft pick now, belonging to Arizona. How closely are they sort of following the situation? Are they helping you out in your road to the comeback?
Yeah, they really are. So they have, let's say, all the hockey staff development guys. So I think the one who's leading that is Lee Stempniak. He played a long time in the NHL. So let's say he's gonna text me twice a week, for example. Or there's the defenseman coach Curtis Foster, who's gonna text me. He came in Drummondville one time. He's gonna come this week too in Drummondville just to skate with me, to do some videos, to talk about how it's going. Also, all the medical guys from Arizona just. If I have a question, I'll just text them, or if they want something, or if they want to know how I'm doing, how my shoulder is doing, they're just gonna call me or text me. So they're following up on me really often, and that's something I like because I can see I'm important to them, and they do like a lot of effort for me too. So that's really nice from them.
Cool, nice. At least they're staying in touch. They don't leave you at
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
We saw a few stories on the Drummondville Instagram account on your comeback. So obviously, it's nice
Yeah.
to see you back out there. And you have any idea, give or take, when fans get to see you back on the ice?
I would say it's gonna be either before Christmas, maybe a week before Christmas, or when I gonna come back from the Christmas break. So when is it? Is it gonna be exactly? I don't know the answer yet, but we'll see, and I'll know of more in the month of December. So for now, that's the only thing I have for you. Is maybe before, maybe after. So we'll see what happens.
Take some time. Like obviously, the sooner the better. We can't wait to see you back out there, but we want you back healthy, obviously.
Yeah,
So especially for the style of game you play. So obviously, we're gonna
exactly.
get to it all a little bit later on, but I just want to go a little bit over your QMJHL career for people who are online right now who don't really know you that much. Obviously, you went 12th overall in the draft.
Yeah,
Was it 3 years ago now? So you're
yeah.
entering your
3 years
third
ago now.
season.
So that was in 2020.
And how was that for an experience? Obviously, I think you were the first draft that we did online because of COVID, right?
Yeah, so it was our first draft online. I was maybe a bit sad at first because I saw like the QMJHL did the draft in person. It's like, oh, it's like the NHL. It's big. You're a kid. You're only like 16. You get in, like it's like, wow, man, I'm gonna be drafted in the rink. But like because of COVID, unfortunately, it was like online. But like I had the chance to experience it at the NHL level, so that's even better at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got drafted 12th overall, and at that point, that was the best day of my life. Definitely. Now I have another best day of my life that happened this summer, but yeah, it was really nice getting drafted by Drummondville in 2020.
Yeah, as long as you can one up those best days of your life
Yeah,
every time, that's fine, right?
exactly. Yeah,
Obviously, year one didn't play too many games. I think because of injuries, you had 24 games.
yeah.
Uh, from going back to that season, basically the things I want to know is like, what are some of the biggest adjustments you had to make from jumping to midget to the Q, and if you could talk maybe of some of the veterans on that team that sort of took you under their wing or showed you
Yeah.
the ropes type of thing.
And that year was like when we played bubbles. So we played
Yeah,
this year for a 6 game straight in 10 days or 9 days. So it was I was a kid at that point getting into like a men's league, and I was playing 6 games in 9 days, and I was so tired at first, and like it was a lot because I was so new to this, and guys are bigger, stronger, they're faster. Like if the plays, it all moves like so much faster than, let's say, midget AAA.
Yeah.
So I had to adjust at first, really. But I think so. That year we had Xavier Simoneau, who's playing with Laval now. So
Yeah.
and he was our captain that year, and he was really, but really, really good. He was such a good teammate, but on the ice he was so good for all of us, for the team. And we did have like the best team on paper that year, but we did really good, and we surprised a lot of people because we had a good work ethic, but we also had like a good leadership group too that year.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, I would say also on the defense part, Kylian Gauthier he was the one driving me that year, lifting me. He was like living close to me. He was living on the next street, so I was seeing him a lot too, and he showed me what it's like to play in the QMJHL.
Now, obviously, you're mentioning Gauthier. I know you played with Jacob Dion as well. Everything
Yeah,
more smaller type of defenseman. Sorry if you
yeah,
guys are listening out there, but I mean, for a guy like you get in there, you got to already adjust your body. For guys who don't know, right now he's Maverick 6'7", so obviously that's an adjustment in itself. But you also have to adjust to the speed of the game, the
yeah,
lifestyle.
exactly.
Make balancing school and hockey and everything. So, what would you say was like the biggest reality check for you when you started your Q season?
I would say because it was just so much games. I would say that was the hardest part, and I think I experienced that part last year because my first year I only played 24 games. Last year I
Yeah,
played more, and it was especially after COVID. It was after Christmas last year. We had a break for a month, and then we played a game each two nights. So we played so much, and I was tired at first too, and I think all the players from the whole league were tired too. So I think that was a big adjustment too on that part. Just playing so many games because I come from midget triple A. I only play the weekends, and now I come to the QMJHL. Well, we're gonna play Monday, we're gonna play Wednesday or Thursday. So
yeah.
that was really different. So I think that was the biggest thing for me to adapt at first.
Now jump into year two, which was last year. In your case, your NHL draft year, so it does come with a little bit of pressure.
I
You
did.
you did live up to the expectations. Obviously, you tripled your offensive production. Climbed up the draft rankings. You ended up being the highest rated defenseman from the Q ahead of the draft. Can you sort of take us through, the how you dealt with that pressure throughout the
Yeah.
year?
I felt it was hard at first because I never had so much pressure on me, and never had so much stress, and I just didn't know how to play with it, how to like control it. And I said that a lot too, like old interviews. It took me about a month and a half to just like realize, oh, okay, I can't play like I play for the whole year, or I'm not gonna be drafted. It's not gonna be good for me. So I have to focus. I have to calm down. I have to forget about everything around me and just focus on me, focus on my game and what I do best. And I talk with like a mental coach. I talk with my agent, with the coaches of Drummondville, and I just had to refocus and be back on track. And until that point, let's say after that month and a half and after Christmas, I was really good, and that's where I started getting higher in the rankings.
Yeah, and obviously we're gonna move on to your draft right now. Ended up going to the Arizona Coyotes in the first round. Had some epic moments coming from that draft. We'll get to them with some video proof sooner rather than later. But first off, I
Of
want to
course.
throw you off to the first question we got in the chat here. Coming here from Jeremy Martin, who was asking basically, when did you start getting calls from NHL teams with interest in you? How many called? What were some of the common questions they were asking you?
I think what I had first was questionnaires from the team. So they were sending me, they had my emails. They were sending me a questionnaire from the team. But let's say Zoom calls. It started about, like I said, about that's maybe like a month, 2 months after the season started, even
Yeah.
earlier than that. So it started a bit during summers, getting questionnaires. But like calls, it started, let's say, a couple weeks after the season started. The team just started calling me, started planning Zooms.
Now, obviously, in the question Jeremy was asking, he asked how many teams called you. I don't really want to know that. I might want to turn that question into like, were teams calling you more often than not? Did some teams repeat? I mean, in other words, did Arizona manifest their interest, or were there
Yeah.
other teams that you felt were more interested?
Well, let's say I'll talk about Arizona. Let's say for Arizona, what they did, I had a lot of calls with them too, so I knew they had a lot of interest in me.
Okay.
Let's say I had the first call. It was with their scout Kevin Tacker. So I had my call with him. Then after that, I had a call with their mental coach, their mental performance coach from Arizona. After that, I had another call with the team. So I had multiple calls with them all year long. And then after the season, Kevin Tacker, he invited me to go to lunch. So I saw them a lot. I had multiple calls with them, and that's not all the teams who does that. So I think it's a team that have a biggest interest in you that just does it.
And now for us who are not in that process, I mean, what are those calls about? What are some of the questions they ask you more frequently than not?
I think at first, let's say for the first calls, they only want to get to know you.
Yeah.
So it was about my family, my hockey background. They talked to my coaches. Let's say they asked me if I was doing good at school, all my family was, if they did sports, how tall they are, all those things. They were talking to me about. Oh, I see my game to see if I can evaluate my game, like if I can evaluate it good, or if I see, let's say I say, oh, I'm a defenseman who's going to score 50 goals a year, or if I say something kind of dumb like that, and they can see, oh, that player doesn't know himself, or if they can see, oh, this player really knows himself, he knows what he has to do, he knows his role in the team. So that was mostly what it was about at first. And then let's say at the combine, that's where more the tricky question got in. That's where they started testing you. They started trying to put you in trap, or like say something you didn't want to say. So that was like the better question there, I would say.
What's the wildest question you got in those interview processes?
I had one from Florida. It was in one word, describe what motivates you more in life. But like you're in an interview with an NHL team, you're stressed, you don't know what's happening, and then you're in the middle of the interview and they ask you that, and you got to think about it, but now you're just so stressed, and then you say, oh, that it's long, and then you just stress more. But like, so that was a good one. That was really an artist one. Or when I had my interview with Montreal too, they were like testing me more there. So they were saying, oh, well, why, let's say, were you not physical all year long? Are you scared? Do you not like it? You have to work for it. Like they were all saying that thing, like after one, each one after the other. So I was like, okay, why are they all doing that? So I think they just wanted to put me under pressure or under the spot. So
Catch
that
you
was
off guard.
yeah, exactly, catch me off guard.
Nice. Obviously, we're going to get to that NHL draft. You worked your butt off, to excuse me the expression, but to become the highest ranked defenseman, and that turns out you go in the first round of Arizona. I mean, what went through your mind at first? What was the first thing?
It was a dream I had all my life coming back to reality. And when I heard my name, my knees just dropped. I felt like I was gonna fall. Like everything around me just shut down. Like they asked me to at the combine, they asked me to put the song. So when I get drafted, so they're gonna play that song. Like I didn't even like know the song. I didn't even heard it. So after the draft, I was like to my dad, I was like, "Hey, did they put the song I asked them to?" He said, and my dad said, "Man, I have no idea," because he wasn't like hearing too. So it was crazy. It was definitely the best day of my life, and I was just like, it was so much joy hitting me at once, and I just couldn't control it. So I had a couple of tears of joy coming out too. It was just such a beautiful moment.
My first question that'll follow up is, what was the song that you were supposed to hear?
It was "Praise God" by Kanye West. So that's the song I told them about. But man, I when I saw the video after, I just now I heard it, but like at the moment I didn't hear anything.
Now, obviously, you're mentioning, you and your dad. Your dad played in the Q, played for Granby a few seasons, so you're sort of following in his footsteps. How was that? Get to live that moment with your family and friends? Obviously, you're from the North Shore of Montreal. The draft was in Montreal, which is unreal.
Exactly.
You mentioned earlier it was a live draft that you didn't get to live in the Q. I mean, did you feel fortunate to get to do all that with your family and friends?
It was such a good coincidence that the draft was in Montreal that year. All my family, my friends, my billet dad and billet mom were there. friends where I played hockey when I was younger with them. 3 of my good friends, like Zachary, Alexandre, and Denik. So they were 3 of my good friends when I was playing in Saint Jérôme, Select du Nord. So they were at the draft. I had tickets for them too, and my agent was there. So my grandparents and everyone. So everyone that was close with me was there. So it was just so nice that it was in Montreal because everyone could come. And when I got drafted, when I put my jersey on, I'm gonna remember that moment for a long time. When I put my jersey on, the whole arena started like screaming and like clapping their hands. So I was like, wow, that's so like a good moment. That's beautiful.
Next time you'll come back to the Bell Center, they might be booing you here. It's a tough
Yeah,
crowd.
they probably will. That's for sure.
It's a tough crowd. Now we have a video on standby here. That was a pretty funny moment from the draft.
Oh,
Obviously, when
I
you
know where
got
you're
on
going with
stage,
that.
yeah, when you got on stage, your parents had a pretty emotional moment. So let's live it together again here.
Oh yeah, I saw that a lot.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah.
Did you see that on the big screen? I mean, obviously the crowd
No,
reacted when your parents just went
no, I
kissing
did
there,
not.
but
I was such in my moment, like just being so happy. Like you see, I'm looking up. I'm
yeah,
just looking at the crowd. I didn't even notice my parents were like kissing or like. And it was after when I was doing interview, like in the backstage, that people. It was Guillaume Lepage. Lepage is a journalist for NHL, and he asked me, "Hey, did you see the video of your parents?" I'm like, "Well, no. What did they do?" Like he told me, he said, "Hey, they're getting famous right now. They're getting bigger than you." And he showed me the video, and I think he had already like 100,000 views. So I was
yeah.
like, "Holy shit, what's happening?" Yeah, I was like, "Oh, they're really getting bigger than me."
I think if we Google your name, the fourth result is Maveric Lamoureux parents. So I mean, they're
Yeah,
famous.
and
They're just not up there yet.
yeah, exactly. And like on Twitter, I was seeing that like all night long, and for the weeks after, I was only seeing that. And my friends were sending me TikToks and videos of just my parents kissing. I was like, how are they everywhere?
Obviously, the night was yours, though. I mean, we saw a little bit. If we go through your Instagram, you took a private jet with the other first rounders from Arizona, went straight to the desert, pretty much. How was that
Exactly.
experience? I mean, did you meet people on the jet that you were sort of starstruck? I mean, what was your first taste of the NHL life type of thing?
That was my first taste of the NHL. You're getting drafted, and then you go on private jet. So that was crazy. So after the draft day, we all go to the table. I shake everyone's hand, and then I see Bill. So Bill's the GM of the team,
Yep.
and he talked to me a bit. He said, "Oh, we're really proud of you, proud of having you, all those things." And then he said, "And we're gonna fly you tomorrow morning, or like tomorrow after the draft, so tomorrow afternoon, in the private jet of the owner." And I was like, is that really happening right now? I just got drafted in the first round, and I'm going in the private jet tomorrow. Like, man, life is good right now. I was like, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. Life is good for sure. Any
Yeah.
any players you met when you got there? Were you greeted by,
Uh,
I don't know, I don't think they have a team captain in Arizona right now, but I mean, would
no,
you
they
greeted
don't.
by some
So
vets?
when I was there, players were not really there for dev camp. So the
Okay.
player I met was, let's say, on the plane. I was with Cooley and Geeky, so they both were there on the plane with me.
Yeah.
And during dev camp, I didn't meet any of the team players. No, but I was in Arizona for 5 weeks during the year or during summer. Sorry, for my rehab.
Okay.
So when I was there, let's say pretty much all the team was there. So all the Kellers, Chikron, O'Brien, Fisher, all those guys, Aiton. So they were all there. So I started meeting them during my weeks when I was in Arizona, and say I was doing like a lot of stuff with O'Brien too. He's a really nice guy, and like so it was nice just meeting those guys, just
Hmm.
seeing them, and like it was a dream. I was watching them on TV last year, and now I'm drafted and I'm practicing, and I'm gonna probably be playing with them too. So everything's happening so fast.
Oh yeah, it's crazy how fast it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, how is like camp for a guy who's injured? Obviously, you can't take anything on ice or whatever, but I mean, what were some of the things they had you doing there?
So let's say off the ice, I was doing my workout with the medical staff. So there was one guy there, Mark Backwood. He was doing my rehab and everything. So I was doing workout with him, like a lower or upper body day, and then
Yeah.
I started practicing there too. So I was
Okay.
going on the ice. And then Keller was coming out of a rehab there, so I was practicing with him on the ice. Chikrin too was coming out of surgery too, so he was in his rehab. So I was practicing with those guys. O'Brien had, I think he tore his hamstring there, so he was on the ice with us too. So I was practicing with those guys.
Crazy.
Doing like some power skating, a bit of drills after with pucks. I was like, that's crazy. That's so nice. But like, and I went in San Jose for rookie tournament too there.
Okay.
But like, of course, I couldn't play any games. So I was with the scratches in the stands, where I was practicing in the morning. So I was with everyone. I was with the team. I was just doing my stuff in my rehab, but I was with everyone at all times.
Nice. That's pretty sick. We have a nice question to follow up there that we just got here from Lucas Amos, who, let me pull it up here, is asking, who was your favorite NHL player growing up?
I would say growing up, he was playing in Montreal, so that was P.K. Subban. So that was my favorite player when I was watching him in Montreal, let's say. So definitely a guy I was always looking. I was a fan of him, that's for sure. Yeah. I'm kind of sad he retired. It would have been so nice to just, let's say, play against him, because I'm at the moment now, I'm like, I can realize, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to probably play against, let's say, a McDavid or McKinnon type of guy. I'm like, that's crazy. So it would have been nice playing against him, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. Imagine playing against your childhood idol. That's pretty sick.
Exactly.
Now, what about today? Like when you watch the NHL, is there anyone you try to imitate or mimic, or you try to replicate his game type of thing?
I would say there's probably two. So there's there's Colton Parayko and Victor Hedman. So it's definitely the two I watch, and I try to model my game after them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll finish off. I mean, we tried to keep it between 20 something minutes. So we'll just finish off maybe with some quick hits, try to get to know you a little bit better, a little fast round. First one we want to know, who's the funniest teammate on the Voltigeurs right now?
I would say, that's a hard one. Let's say, I'm going to say one for last year. It was our 20, Jacob Dion. He was always doing jokes, always playing around, and he was so funny. So I would say from last year, it was probably him. But this year, I would say we have a joker on the team.
Everyone's pretty quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
They need you back in the room now.
Yeah, exactly.
Favorite movie or TV show?
Avengers.
Avengers? The whole series?
Yeah, I just love them so much. Yeah.
Who's your favorite one?
Or Stranger Things. If you want a series, I'll say Stranger Things.
Okay. Who's your favorite Avenger?
Probably Iron Man. Iron Man, yeah, pretty sure. Yeah.
There you go. What about if you could have a cheat meal for the rest of your life? What would you go to?
Burgers.
Smashed them, or like
two burgers.
Smashed burgers, which is the new trend, or like just a big
like two patties. En anglais, là, mais deux boulettes de viande. Là.
2 patties.
Yeah, so a double patties, like double cheeseburger, like would be pretty good.
Nice. The other one I had was childhood idol. Obviously, you went through that. What about favorite athlete from another sport? Do you watch any other sports at all? Or
yeah, so I would say big fan of basketball. So growing up, I love watching all those Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant. So that was the main three I was looking to.
Nice. So you must have liked that series on Netflix.
Yeah, I did. I watched it a couple times. That's for sure. I watch it a lot.
He's a different mentality on Michael Jordan. That's for sure.
It is.
And we'll throw a last one here from the public. If anyone has some more, you can go ahead and throw them in the comments. But right now, the last one we'll pull up is, who's the hardest goalie to score on that you've played against?
That's an easy one. It was our goalie. He was with us for a year and a half. It was Frankie Lapena. So Francesco Lapena, he's in Charlottetown now.
Yeah.
He's so good, man. I have a lot of difficulties to score against him, even though when he was in practice, I was like, you're too good. Just let me score. And like we always had that competition, and like I just always, like, let's say for warm-ups, I was always shooting in his gloves. That was our thing. But like, he was hard to score against. He is really, really good.
Yeah, he's pretty acrobatic. He's got a few highlight reel saves.
Yeah, exactly.
Every year. All right, Maverick, that's all we had for you today. I mean, obviously, thanks for taking the time. I hope people got to know you a little bit better, and obviously, we'll wish you the best of luck for you to get back out there. We're looking forward to seeing you hit some guys, score some goals, put up points, and obviously impress the Coyotes brass some more.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. That's for sure. Thanks, David.
Thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you.
Have a good one.